Welcome to the Longevity Program, a program with a simple goal in mind to see if I can live longer, stronger. And last week was a fantastic opportunity for me to do exactly that and to put into practice another thing that I haven't really talked about so far, but that I believe is so incredibly important. And that is the power of the simple vacation. That's right, getting away from it all, relaxing, spending some time with family, friends, or maybe it's just yourself, just taking time out from the daily grind. Because remember, I really talked about how do we live and how do we get longevity in this crazy, busy world. And so last week for me, super importantly, I was able to get away for a week with my beautiful wife and boys, and I was able to relax. And I'm going to get to some key statistics that I took note of in that relaxation. And I tell you what, there's some statistics to listen to, and they'll come a little bit later as I go through what I want to cover off today. So I've written down some key points, and the key points are: number one, vacation. Vacation, vacation, vacation. Take that time to take a break. Now, I talk about regenerate, and I talk about the importance of regenerate and sleep, and that certainly comes for me into my vacation. But generally speaking, even if we're not talking about sleeping, regeneration in terms of just giving your mind and your body a break is so incredibly important, I believe. And I tell you what, there are some stats to back it up, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, out of interest, I've just had a week up in far north Queensland in a beautiful place called Palm Cove, where I was able to keep training, which was great. The whole family wanted to keep training, and that's what we were able to do. We do have this event 29029 coming up for myself and my beautiful wife, and so we had to keep training, but it was pretty low-key training. It wasn't over the top, and we were able to put some really fun things in with that as well. So for example, we had a day where we went white water rafting, and that was a great ability for me to just de-stress, relax, have some fun, laugh my head off, enjoy time with the family, and yep, get a little bit of exercise in as well in terms of paddling. So I've had a fantastic week, and at the end of that week, I'm now at the end of my first quarter of reviewing statistics, and at the end of the first quarter comes the next round of, you guessed it, fasting. So I'm at the end of day one on my second 3-day fast. Perfect timing after a break. Had plenty to eat, plenty of really great things to eat, but certainly overindulged, and that's okay because I'm able to fast. Now, once again, I've mentioned the name of this book, and I'll mention it again. It's a book called The Complete Guide to Fasting by a guy called Dr. Jason Fung, F-U-N-G. And I tell you what, he has a wealth of information on fasting if that's something that you want to try for yourself. For me, fasting is super awesome because, as he says, and I'll paraphrase it, you can go, you can enjoy your holidays, you can eat, you can be merry, knowing that you can fast, because so much of what we've been set up to do is to feast and fast. So I'm at the end of day one on my second 3-day fast, and I'm feeling pretty good. I've just gone for an 8K jog and in zone 2, and in another post I might talk about the importance of zone training. So a zone 2 easy 8K jog, and that was a lot of fun at the end of my day one fast, and I'm feeling pretty good. Now, how has all of this vacation, how has this fasting, how has the longevity program generally been working for me and for my body? I've got a blood test to come at the end of this first quarter. I've still got another couple of months to go before my second DEXA body scan, but I do have some really interesting statistics that I've noted down from my Whoop device that I now carry up on my arm, and it captures all of the key information, in particular on my heart rate variability, my readiness to get going in terms of exercise, and my body's preparedness to really put myself under strain, and my resting heart rate. So how do I relax and how does my heart rate really settle down? And what's really interesting is I was able to have, or I have been able to have a look with Whoop at my heart rate variability and my resting heart rate for the 3-month period before I started this longevity program, and averaged that through. And then, for me, that really goes to a point of statistical significance. We've got a good period of time, a good period of data that I'm able to have a look at. And then now for the first quarter of doing this longevity program, I'm able to see, well, what's happening with those two key stats in particular, my heart rate variability hopefully should be going up. And my resting heart rate, as I get fitter and my body responds better, should go down. Now, let's see what the stats have told us. Now, the Whoop stats also tell me, and this is some really cool data that the Whoop is able to give me. The Whoop stats also tell me what are the key positive contributors to a really good recovery, for my body to really be in peak form. And so it each morning asks me to place some journal answers, which I do. And in placing those answers, it's able to identify, well, what are the things that really positively impact me, and also what really negatively impacts me. So for the first quarter of the longevity program against the last quarter before I started the longevity program, here are some key stats, and I think you're going to find them really interesting. I certainly did. The first one is that the number one positive contributor to my recovery and to how my body is responding and is ready to put itself through strain is, and some might think unsurprisingly, is getting a 76% plus performance in my sleep. Now, remember I said that I wanted to get about 7 hours sleep a night, and depending on the strain I put my body through, that's about right to get 76% plus restorative sleep. And that's a plus 10% impact, positive impact on my recovery. Now, before I went through this, the number one impact on my positive impact on my recovery was journaling. Now, that's not showing up at all at the moment because I journal now every single day. So Whoop doesn't have any comparison data to have a look at. I can tell you though that journaling continues to be such an important part, and I bet you if I did have a couple of days of not journaling, that it would be able to be shown that that still has a significant positive impact on my recovery. So sleep, I come back to that. Sleep is so super important. And in the last week on holidays, I was able to really get some good sleep in, and that had some very positive impact, which I'll get to later. So sleep, super, super, super important for me, for my body. Now, the great thing about something, whether it's a Whoop or whether it's another device that's similar, the great thing about this is it's individually tailored. So this certainly works for me. It also shows similar members, and similar members, which are people who are in my grouping of people who use that Whoop. Similar members have a similar response, although my response is higher at 10%. I think similar members are about +6. That's really cool as well, because you can say, well, I'm getting a really great result. How are others? Well, I can tell you others also get a good result from sleep. I've said it before and I'll say it again, sleep is so super important. And if you're a busy executive like myself, and if you're thinking to yourself, I can push through and I don't need sleep, I'm going to tell you differently. I'm going to tell you, you absolutely 100% need good sleep. Otherwise, you are selling yourself short on allowing your body and your mind to regenerate and to get the best out of this amazing life that we live. So the second really interesting thing, outdoor time for me has a +7% positive impact on my recovery. Outdoor time, who'd have thought it? Actually, I would have thought it because I completely and absolutely love getting outdoors and really enjoying the sunshine and the bush or the beach or whatever it is that I'm experiencing. Outdoor has such a fantastic positive impact on me. Another positive impact, and I'm going obviously down in scale, so +10% for sleep, +7% for outdoor time, +4% for ice bath. So if you think this crazy concept of ice bath is maybe made up, it has a +4 positive impact on me, on my body, on my mind, on my ability to recover and to restore. Similar members, just out of interest, I think from memory are +3. So that's backed up by also other members who use the Whoop stats. And then finally, stretching has a +3 positive impact. Now, part of the longevity program is Move, and I've just gone for a run, an 8K run, and I can tell you, once I finish this post, I'm going to be doing at least 20-minute stretching, and that has a nice little positive impact on me, and something I tell you what I did not do when I was younger. I thought, oh, who has time for stretching? I tell you, if you can make the time for stretching, it really, really looks after you. So what about the flip side? So what about the negative impacts on my body's ability to recover. Now, you may remember that previously the number one impact on my body on its ability to recover was, perhaps not surprisingly, alcohol. Now, I've mentioned before in a previous post, I truly and absolutely believe that alcohol is a poison, certainly in altitude when we're talking about traveling, but just generally speaking, the easiest way to destroy your heart rate variability and to absolutely jack up your resting heart rate is to drink, unfortunately, because I know it's a lot of fun. And at the same, well, for me at least, I certainly enjoyed a couple of drinks in my day. But now, I tell you what, I'd rather get up in the morning, not feel, as I call it, dusty, and really just enjoy my day. So that was the number one negative impact on my recovery. The number one negative impact on my recovery now is a late meal. So a meal pretty much before I'm going to bed. That has a minus 12% impact on my recovery the next day. And I can see it. I can see with my resting heart rate over the night, it starts off really high. My body is really struggling and working to digest the food that it's eaten just before I've gone to bed. And the heart rate starts high and it slowly recovers through the night until by the time in the morning I'm just about to get up, it's normally okay again, but I've lost a whole lot of restorative time for my body to really get the most out of its sleep. So for me, I absolutely want to avoid eating late wherever I possibly can. Now, there are times that I can't avoid that. There are times when, for example, I have a work dinner and we do finish the meal late, and that's just going to be an impact that I'm going to have to live with. But at least I know, and I'm very, very conscious that that's going to be the case. Another negative impact, or the next negative impact, is working late. So if I've got a late night submission that I need to review, or I need to write something up, or I need to catch up on emails, or whatever it is, I know that that's going to have a minus 7% impact on my recovery for the next day. Another and final thing that I've been tracking as part of the longevity program, whenever I feel, if I've had a day, for example, where I've had to have a challenging interaction in a personnel matter, for example, or whatever it is that I've had to deal with, I record that as stress. And and with that recording of stress, that has come up as a minus 6% impact on my recovery. So there is absolutely, and this is my body's physical recovery, so there is an absolute link between your mind and how your mind is interacting with whatever it is that you're doing and your body. I can tell you, I've seen it, it's in my stats at the very least. So stress. So what has happened in the first quarter of operating as part of this longevity program? Well, drum roll please. For the first quarter, I have experienced a 22% average increase in my heart rate variability. Remember, that's my body's ability and readiness to really get into the day with absolute energy and power. So I have experienced a 22% increase quarter on quarter pre-longevity program and the first quarter of the longevity program in my heart rate variability alone. That is a massive increase, and I'm super pumped about that. The next important aspect is the resting heart rate. So what is my resting heart rate, the number of times that my heart beats per minute when I'm at full relaxation? What's happened to that before the longevity program and after? Well, that has gone down, which is a good thing. It has gone down by 9%, which is super cool. And if you want to hear, and I'll finish off with some really even more interesting stats, is on holidays. Now, I mentioned I took a vacation or a holiday and I was able to really relax and recharge. And for all of maybe those workaholics out there, a little bit like myself, who really like to get into work and get involved and so on, and taking a break is not for me, I can power on and all of these sorts of things. And you're wondering, should I take a holiday? Well, I can tell you unequivocally, yes. Because remember those statistics I talked about, heart rate variability and resting heart rate? Well, looking at my last week, and I can tell you these stats were continuing to rise. You had a graph, it's rising like this and it's going down like this for resting heart rate and it's going up like this for heart rate variability. Now let's have a look at just last week against that before longevity program quarter. I experienced a 45% increase last week in my heart rate variability compared to that pre-longevity quarter. 45%. And really excitingly, my resting heart rate, my body's ability just to relax, increased on that pre-longevity program by 17%. So 45% increase in heart rate variability, a readiness to really get out there and enjoy the world, and a 17% reduction in my resting heart rate, so my ability to just relax and give my body a break. How awesome is that? So I say it again, if you're thinking, should I take a holiday? Take the holiday. Your body and your mind will thank you for it. Because remember, at the end of the day, for me, it is absolutely all about my ability to live long, live strong. Until next time.